Today let me share with you 13 different tips on how to get your offer accepted in a really hot seller's market. Hi, my name's Tony Law from Your First Four Houses, and my channel is all about helping you replace a job-based income with just a handful of investment properties so that you can give up the day job if you wish and go and do something more interesting with your life. If this is your first time here, be sure to subscribe to the channel and click that bell notification icon so that you don't miss out on any of the free content that I give you each and every week. So in my online property masterclass program, I have a whole module dedicated to working with estate agents so that you can secure deals via agents really quickly. And I've actually got two modules focusing on working directly with sellers. But it is such a hot market at the moment. Everything is being snapped up. You might go and do a viewing and there'll be 10 people before you and 10 people after. I want to share 13 different tips with you that will get your offer accepted. And by the way, some of these are going to be relevant to working directly with sellers and some with agents, and I'm going to mark them accordingly. So the first of these is actually relevant to before you even find a property, and it's simply to be ready to act quickly. And so by that I mean make sure that you've got your right move alerts set up so that when a cracking deal pops up on the market, you're ready to jump straight on it. Make sure that agents are fully aware of exactly what you're looking for so that they phone you first. This is going to mean that you'll be far more likely to nail that deal down. The tip number 2 is one that I talk about a lot, and it's simply to build rapport with agents. Never underestimate the power of having great rapport with an agent. Not only will they phone you first when that cracking deal comes in, but they'll be far more likely to recommend your offer over others. The third one is to make sure that you've got a decision in principle from your mortgage broker. If you go forwards with it to an agent and you put forward a proposal, one of the first things they're going to want to know is how you're going to fund that deal. If you can present them with a decision in principle, they're far more likely to recommend that your offer is accepted. The next one is a little bit unusual, and it is to discover the seller's motivation for selling. Now I know that sounds a bit weird, but it's really important that you're aware of this, because sometimes sellers, well, they don't necessarily want the most amount of money for their property. Maybe you and I would want that, but sometimes there's a different reason why a seller is highly motivated to do a deal. Now if you can find out what that reason is, sometimes you can put some other solutions in front of the seller that are actually more important than getting the most amount of money for the deal. So find out exactly what their motivation for selling is. My fifth one is to go in and show the agent your bank statement. Again, this is all about funding the deal. The agent doesn't get paid unless the deal goes through. So to convince them that you're in a proceedable position, show them your bank statement with the deposit in it, I hasten to add. If you don't have any money in your bank, then maybe you should show the agent your partner's bank statement. So let's assume that you're working with a joint venture partner and they've got the money. Take their bank statement in and show them. The seventh one is, could you actually finance this deal with cash? Now I recognize that many of the people that I deal with aren't in a position to be able to do that. But if you do have cash available, could you nail down a cracking deal and act really, really quickly? A quick side story here. I actually once saw a seller, and from the moment I walked in the door and shook hands with them for the first time, this is pre-COVID, I hasten to add, I actually exchanged on that deal within 4 days. And I was able to do that because I was buying with cash. Now the cash doesn't necessarily have to be yours, I hasten to add, but believe you me, it puts you in a far stronger position when it comes to getting your offer accepted. My eighth one is simply to be the first. Be the first to actually put forwards an offer. So be the first in the door, first of all, and be the first to put your offer forward. My ninth one is to offer your highest figure first. Now, as a property investor, I know that's going to go against the grain. We all want to get a cracking deal, don't we? But one of the drums I keep beating these days is to find deals where you can add massive, massive value. I won't go into that now. I've got a complete mini course on how you do that. I'll maybe put the link here. If you're looking at deals where you can add massive value. Does it really matter if you pay an extra £1 or £2 or £3 or £4,000? The answer is it really doesn't, because you're going to be adding massive deal. So go in and offer your highest figure first. You'll be far more likely to have your offer accepted. My 11th tip is a bit of an unusual one, and it's really focused on when you're dealing directly with sellers, and it's simply to offer to clear the property. Now literally, as we speak, that's exactly what I'm doing on one of my properties. I'm buying a place where basically the sellers are moving out and they have left a ton of stuff. Literally, not a ton, tons of stuff. And the fact that I offered this, the fact that I said, do you know what? Don't worry about it. You can just move out and I will clear everything for you. It was enough for them to be, it was enough to enable me to tie down that deal. They accepted my offer. My 11th one is to simply do what you say you're going to do. That may sound a bit random, but you know what? Agents and sellers, they get nervous if they get a sense that you're not actually doing what you said you were going to do. So make sure you do, and also make sure that you're keeping both the agent and the seller updated more often than perhaps they expect you to. So in some cases, if you're dealing directly with the seller, you might be actually texting them or phoning them on almost a daily basis, certainly a weekly basis, with full updates on exactly what's happening. And that way you'll be far more likely to not just secure the deal, but they're going to stay with you, even if they've got other potentially attractive offers coming to them. My 12th one is another slightly weird one, and it's to simply make the seller fall in love with you. Now I know that's completely random, but you want the seller to make sure that you buy it. You want the seller to want you to buy that property. How do you do that? Well, you just make sure that you, first of all, never criticize any aspect of the property, but just go in there and be a really wonderful person. Often agents will want to kind of put a wall between you and the seller. And I always find that a little bit frustrating, if I'm being honest. In fact, I kind of fight it, if I'm being really honest. I go out of my way, even when I'm viewing with an agent, to connect with the seller, because you want them to want you to buy it. My 13th one is I'm going to make an assumption here that your offer isn't accepted. And so my 13th tip is to follow up, follow up, follow up. Until that deal is exchanged, until they've exchanged contracts, frankly, you're still in with a really good chance. But you won't be unless you follow up. Agents are really, really busy people. They're unlikely to jump on the phone to you if the deal falls out of bed. So follow up. And certainly if you're dealing directly with sellers, you should be following up. I hope you found that helpful. And if you did, maybe give me a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to my channel for more videos just like this.